Thank you for joining us this week here on Retiring Well. We have a great show mapped out with you from the team here at Retiring Well that we believe you're going to enjoy and walk away with some great education about retirement planning. First, we're going to be talking about important tips when you're approaching retirement. What are some of those things you should be doing when you're narrowing down the days, when you're checking off the days on your calendar towards your retirement? Then we have a special guest joining us this week from the Better Business Bureau. We're talking about the rating system. So when you're out there looking for various businesses, you can feel confident in how these different ratings affect things and what does that mean to you as a consumer. And again, strategies to become debt-free. We talk about debt sometimes here on the show and different ways to get it. But what about no matter where you're at and what stage of life, work on becoming debt-free and how to do that. And to wrap up the show this week, we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of early retirement. Sometimes folks fantasize and dream about that day they get to punch out for the last time. And if they can do that early, what are some of the things you need to be concerned of and some of the things to look forward to in that? All of this and so much more coming at you right now here on Retiring Well.
Retiring Well, brought to you by Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial advisors specializing in retirement planning and serving all of Northern Michigan. Retiring Well, helping you plan for a successful and comfortable retirement. Retiring Well, plan to retire well.
So let's just assume you're 12 months or less from retirement and you're trying to figure out, okay, what do I do next? Retirement is just around the corner and I'm not sure I've got all my bases covered. So that's where let's walk through these 5 tips that'll help you as you prepare for retirement, which can be a stressful time. So first, let's stress test your plan. Let's look at what are your short-term goals? What are your long-term goals? Do you have an income plan that's mapped out for 20 to 30 years to see that you have a sufficient amount of savings to help support what your lifestyle looks like? Do you have a proper amount set aside in a checking savings account? Also with that, when you're talking about stress testing, you want to stress test the risk associated with your portfolio. What if the market doesn't cooperate? We've all seen the market as it go ebbs and flows, and we don't know in the next 12 months as you approach retirement, what's the market going to do? And so do you have sufficient funds sort of set aside to generate the necessary amount of income for a period of time, maybe when the market isn't cooperating and you don't want to be pulling from your portfolio when the market's down? Number 2, make a budget. A lot of times people have just gotten comfortable with, well, I've got my paycheck and hey, I've still got a few dollars left over at the end of the month, and that's their plan. When it comes to retirement planning, you're going to want to make a budget and essentially see what do your expenses look like. You can look at your credit card statement for the past 6-12 months and sort of see what are the general areas where you're spending money. Do you anticipate any of those areas that are going to change? What about some upcoming bigger expenses? Is there travel involved? Do you have to replace the roof? Are you buying a new vehicle or a boat or something like that? And do you have sufficient funds set aside already to cover that expense? Third item is leverage opportunities. So with that, I mean, you're still working, you still have hopefully this decent income that you've been living on. Could you use some of those additional assets? Is it worthwhile to contribute to a Roth IRA, as an example, to build up maybe some tax-free assets that you could draw from in retirement? Should you consider maxing out contributions into your 401k or retirement plan? Or maybe sometimes it's valuable to build up some cash, some after-tax savings that you could then use to either supplement income that wouldn't be taxable, or it might be for that bigger expense that you know is coming up soon. Along with that, pay off your debt. As in some of the most successful retirement plans that I've seen have come where, okay, all the major expenses are already taken care of, and so now it's more just covering your normal day-to-day living, and you don't have any of those bigger debts still out there, along with paying cash for your bigger expenses. If you're looking to buy that fun the fishing boat or the UTV or any of those toys or anything like that, ideally you're paying cash for those and not taking on additional debt and an additional payment when it comes to your retirement plan. Number 4, make sure you have a plan for health insurance and you know the projected costs. There's different tools out there where you can do your research and figure that out, or you're welcome to give our firm a call. We have different team members that help specifically when it comes to health insurance and trying to figure out, okay, what is that going to cost, especially if you're under the age of 65. That brings in some different planning circumstances as far as for how you're structuring your income and for tax purposes and all that. And as well as if you're married, okay, what does that look like for the two of you? Number 5, I'd say tune out the noise. There's day-to-day market swings, and a lot of times that's when emotions take over and you potentially could make the wrong decisions. You still have to be thinking long-term. If you're not yet retired, but you're getting close, you have to figure out, okay, well, I'm likely living another 20, 30 plus years, so take that into consideration. So I'm hopeful that these 5 tips were helpful for you. If you want a little extra help on any of that, then you're welcome to give us a call here at Centennial Wealth Advisory. We'd love the opportunity to sit down with you for no cost, no obligation, second opinion. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Living life isn't always easy. It puts up challenges and obstacles you'll have to overcome. There are responsibilities. You put in effort to provide and take care of your family, and to save and invest, to balance work and life. Planning is the first step to succeeding. Plan to retire well.
It's your retirement. How will you live it? How will you be remembered?
Will you be able to take me on vacation?
Will you be there for my ball games?
Will you teach me your values? You'll be able to play with me.
Oh, help me go to college. How will I remember you?
Have the retirement you dream about. Contact us today.
Hi, my name is Jack Klunder, and I am a financial advisor with Centennial Wealth Advisory. I work out of our Cadillac office, and we specialize in retirement planning. We take a very holistic approach. So if you are nearing or in retirement and you have questions that you want to go over, please give the number on the screen a call, and we can have and set up a free, no obligation consultation.
My name is Troy Baker. I'm the Vice President of Community Relations and Educational Foundation at the Better Business Bureau serving Western Michigan. People often ask us, what is a BBB accredited business? How do you get an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau? And it's really pretty simple when you think about it. The Better Business Bureau rating system has been around for a little while. It's based on a host of factors that all go into an algorithm to decide what is the letter rating this business gets. Everything A+ to F, just like you would get in school. Obviously, the closer you are to A+, the better that business does at a number of things. So what goes into that rating? There's a whole host of factors, but it includes what type of business is this? What industry is it in? There are certain industries that are riskier than others, and it's harder to get an A+ rating in some industries than others. How long have you been in business? How many complaints do you have relative to the size of your business? If you're a company that only has 5 customers and you have 5 complaints, that's going to have a big impact on your rating. If you're a very large company that has some complaints, that's not going to have as big of an impact. One of the main factors that goes into this is how you respond to the complaints you get. We really want businesses to respond to all complaints and make sure they're doing so in a way that builds trust and is honest and ethical. We want businesses to ask themselves, how would they want to be treated if they were the customer in this situation? And those businesses that handle it the right way really do demonstrate transparency and ethics, and that makes a big difference when it comes to the rating. We also look at things like government actions. Has the government taken some sort of an enforcement action against this company? Are there things that we ought to know or consumers need to know about it? Are there patterns of complaints? Are there types of complaints that we see several of? We really want to make sure that the business is dealing with things at a structural level. So if they have a whole bunch of complaints about a specific thing, we work with the business to try to resolve that. And if they can't resolve it, that's going to impact their rating. When it comes to being BBB accredited, that's that next step. The businesses that want to become BBB accredited apply for that accreditation, and we vet them. We look at everything from government actions against them. Do they have the right licensing for the industry they're in? What kind of business are there? How do they handle complaints? What kind of reviews do they have? What kind of reputation do they have online? All of this goes into a vetting process to determine whether this business meets our standards of trust and ethics. The Better Business Bureau has been around for more than 100 years. We were founded by good business owners that were sick of bad business owners ripping people off. So we want to find and support trustworthy businesses that treat consumers the right way. So when a business becomes BBB accredited and earns that accreditation, that means that we have vetted them and they will uphold our 8 standards of trust and ethics. Those include being transparent, being responsive, and building trust with customers in their community. We want to make sure that all of our BBB accredited businesses are good members of our community and our marketplace, so that you as a customer know when you walk into a business and you see that BBB accredited business seal, that that's a business you can have faith is going to treat you the right way. And heaven forbid something go wrong, they're going to handle it in an honest and ethical manner and work to resolve the issue. So when you're looking for a business, before you spend your money, before you sign on that dotted line, do some research. Go to bbb.org, learn about that organization, find out what their rating is, and find out if they're BBB accredited. And know that when you go in and work with somebody, you are a wise and informed consumer.
Every business says they're better, but the ones that earn and display the BBB seal back it up. It instantly identifies businesses that are committed to operating with integrity, honoring promises, and telling the truth. Makes you wonder why every business doesn't have it. So look for it, because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
What can Retirement Analyzer do for you? Retirement Analyzer is a software tool that can help you prepare today for your financial future. You've worked hard to save for your retirement, but as you near your retirement, you may have concerns. Have I positioned my retirement savings wisely? Have I saved enough for retirement, and will my savings last throughout my lifetime? What impact could inflation have on my future expenses? What if I suffer a long-term illness? Will I have enough money to cover my medical care expenses and still be able to meet my other financial obligations? Could changes in the income tax rates disrupt my retirement strategy? There's no need to be in the dark as you prepare for your retirement. Retirement Analyzer can help you find answers to all these questions and more. The first step is providing us with information on your financial assets, the type and current value of those assets, as well as your sources of income. Then, we work with you to identify your expected expenses in retirement. This will include a discussion of the lifestyle you envision in retirement, travel, a summer residence, whatever you dream your retirement will be. We'll input the information you provide us into the Retirement Analyzer, and in a very short time we'll have reports that show us the percentage of assets currently in high-risk vehicles as well as the percent in lower-risk products. Retirement Analyzer enables us to project your income from year to year in your retirement and see how long your retirement savings may last. as we change the conditions of the report, delaying your retirement date, including costs for long-term care, adjusting the expected tax rate, or adjusting your retirement strategies, we can see how changes in these variables may impact your income in retirement and the longevity of your retirement savings. Let the Retirement Analyzer help you test drive your retirement strategy today, because the time to discover the bumps in the road is not once your trip through retirement has begun. Contact our office today to schedule an appointment for your Retirement Analyzer review.
Your grandchildren are precious to you. They are your life. This is your time to have that special relationship. Taking care of yourself is taking care of them. Centennial Wealth Advisory is offering a free, no-obligation retirement review to make sure you don't run out of money during your retirement. Centennial Wealth Advisory. Your best is yet to come.
According to a recent survey done back in January of 2023 by ARP's Financial Security, they found that 41% of people are in a situation where they have unmanageable debt. Now, that primarily affects those in the age groups of the 30s and 40s age range. However, that study also found that some 31% of those age 60 and above suffer from that unmanageable debt as well. So what are some of those common forms of debt that those age 60 and above have, and how can we go about minimizing or reducing those debt obligations? So some of those forms of debt that we have come across with those individuals that are 60 plus are credit card debt. That is probably the number one form of debt for retirees. Fortunately, those high interest credit card rates are above 20% right now. And according to that same ARP study, they found that 38% of those age 60 and above struggle with that credit card debt. Another common form of debt is with your mortgage, okay? Average mortgage payment right now in today's world is $1,672 a month. So something that if you can get that paid off before retirement, that's a big win. Other forms of debt that we commonly see for those retirees are personal loans or car payments, okay? So those are some of the main forms of debt. Now, what are some ways that we can go about reducing those debt obligations and getting out of debt? So the first way, I'm going to go over 8 different ways, but the first way is going to be just stop accumulating it, okay? So credit cards, that should be the last resort, only for emergencies. That's when you should use credit cards. And if you can avoid it, by all means, avoid it. So stop accumulating that debt. Number 2, reduce your expenses. So go through a budget. If you don't have a budget, create one. Okay, sit down and go over, okay, what are my income sources versus what are my expenses? Go line by line. Determine what you absolutely have to have and then what you don't really need and you can do without. Anything that you can do without, take it out of the budget and allocate those funds to paying off other debt. Option 3, look into reverse mortgages. Okay, now there are some bad circumstances out there with reverse mortgages, so make sure you check into that and you meet with a financial advisor or someone that does reverse mortgages very frequently, because there are upsides and downsides to that. But you've been paying on that home for your whole life probably, and you have equity build up in that. You could use that. Okay. Another option would be, well, take a look at maybe getting a part-time job. Okay. If income is running short and you need something to supplement that and make payments on those debt, well, find that part-time job. It's very common for a retiree to do something that they've always loved just on a part-time basis. Another option is maybe looking at the cash value side of that whole life insurance policy that you have out there. We've come across many clients where they've been paying on this whole life policy for 20, 30 years plus, and they've got a decent cash value side left on that. And the death benefit, isn't really the greatest, and maybe they don't even need that death benefit. So you could take that cash value side of that whole life policy and maybe use that to pay off debt. Another option, finally, would be maybe tapping into your retirement accounts. Now, recently we just had a case where a client, their mortgage payment was mortgage interest was north of 6%. Okay, so it's pretty high, and with interest rates the way they are today, it's not unheard of, right, to have that high mortgage interest. Well, if they had in their IRA more of like a safe bucket of money that was earning only 3 to 4%, well, that mortgage is costing them 6%, right? So it worked out in their case that we took a portion of their retirement assets that wasn't earning as much, 3 to 4%, and we used those funds to pay off that mortgage and effectively save them 2 to 3% in interest payments. So there's lots of different ways that you can go about reducing your debt obligation. Make sure if you've got questions on your debt and ways to reduce it, please don't hesitate to reach out and give us a call on the number on the screen. Are you nearing retirement or in retirement? Have you had your portfolio just looked at or have a second opinion on that portfolio recently? Centennial Wealth is a full-service advisory firm, and we have multiple locations in northern Michigan. I'm in the Gaylord office primarily. The office is right downtown Gaylord. Also up in the Petoskey office as well. That office is right off of 31. I'd love to hear your story. I'd love to sit down and chat, and it's a free, no-obligation consultation, so just call the number on the screen.
Make the most of Social Security. Although Social Security isn't designed to cover all of your income needs, it's an important part of the retirement puzzle. Download our free booklet on the Social Security decisions at cen-wealth.com and learn how to optimize Social Security for your situation, why timing is so important when it comes to your benefits, ways to supplement your Social Security, and more. There is no cost and no obligation. Simply go to cen-wealth.com, scroll down, and click the download link to get your free booklet on the Social Security decisions. If you like watching Retiring Well, make sure to go to youtube.com/retiringwell and click the subscribe button to never miss any of our TV shows and other informative videos.
Early retirement, something many people strive for, and sometimes people fear. So what is early retirement, and what are some advantages and disadvantages of that we have to be looking out for? Well, let's first define what early retirement even is. You know, over the years, that age of retirement kind of tends to be a moving target. And for some of you, maybe you have a day picked out, or you're already retired, and it was a line in the sand, and that's when you're going to retire. For others, they're uncertain. You hear years out there like full retirement age. It's a little bit different depending upon your birthday for most people. 65, you know, when Medicare starts. 62, the earliest you can draw Social Security retirement benefits. 59 and a half, when you can start drawing, you know, from IRAs and such like that. 55, the point you can start drawing from a 401k. So you start to hear all these different ages. So what is early retirement? Well, it's really in the eyes of the beholder. You know, for some people, you know, retiring at 64 might be considered early retirement because they're retiring maybe before they take Medicare and before their full retirement benefits would kick in from Social Security. Other folks, early retirement might be before 59 and a half, before they're that. Recently, there was a movement out there that kind of dubbed this thing called FIRE, Financially Independent, Retire Early. So some people are working really hard to retire even into their 40s because they don't want to have this lifestyle, working lifestyle, all the way out there. So what are some other advantages of retiring early? And really think of this as just retiring early in your own mind. Freedom from your work schedule and offices, obviously, right? If you're not punching the clock, if you're not going in, you have the freedom to do those other things that you want to do. Time to pursue those passions because you don't have that time commitment to your work or your office. You can go out and pursue passions and interests and hobbies and volunteer. Maybe it's grandkids and travel and all this sort of stuff. And improvement in well-being. Studies have shown over the years that people can sometimes step away from a stressful work environment and their health can improve and they can maybe hopefully have time to be more physically fit and all those sort of things. And also, retiring early doesn't mean you have to step away from working. Maybe it's just a change or a slowdown. So stepping away from your primary career and stepping into a field that maybe is less stressful or something you enjoy or a hobby that you want to pursue. Sometimes people even start up small businesses in retirement and do something they're very passionate about. So again, you can kind of hear a theme. A lot of it's time driven, right? You think about it, the commitment you give to your employer, to your office, to your work, your own business. If you're doing this, it's a vast time that we find ourselves awake during the day we spend in the work thing. What are some things we have to be cautious of, though? What are some things we have to be on the lookout for early retirement that could cause some bumps in the road down the road? So obviously, if we are fully retiring and walking away, where's income going to come from? If we're retiring early enough to even before Social Security benefits kick in, maybe you're fortunate that you can start your pension if you have a pension a little bit early. But again, the income has to come from somewhere. So either from savings, from part-time employment, something. So again, retiring early, that's a lot of years potentially to have that income out there. Health insurance. Where is health insurance going to come from? Maybe while you're working, it's an employer plan, something like that. If you're pre-65, that's before Medicare. So how are we getting those benefits? Are we going on the marketplace to do that? Are we doing something different? So again, that health care and doing that over multiple years, and what does that look like? The loss of meaning. So this is an interesting thing. Talking to clients and friends and all that sort of stuff that have retired, work often becomes a part of you and who you are, with friendships at work and developing that, because again, you spend so much time there. So that meaning of fulfillment in your life and that accomplishment, depending upon what you've been doing. Some people say, I can't wait to walk away. When that door closes for the last time, it'll be the best day of my life. Other folks, there's a piece of them that's really hard to walk away because it's that meaning and fulfillment. And even sometimes feeling of loneliness because of that. Again, so much of our life is spent sometimes in the office, in the workplace, that connection and loneliness with our peers and coworkers along the way. So if you're thinking of retiring early, maybe sit down, talk to a professional. There's a lot of different things to navigate, not just financially, but as you hear there, with health insurance, even taxation I didn't get a lot into, and obviously just some of these work-life balances that exist in your life. So again, we appreciate you watching our show. We hope you got some great things from this week's show from there. And again, all of this here so you can plan to retire well.